Okay. Looks like we might be live.
Ooh.
All right. For those of you that are joining us now, thanks so much for spending some time with us today. My name is Johnny Lopez, and I am the marketing manager for Pixite, the creators of Zinnia and a few other fun apps you should check out if you have a chance. I am joined today by Mark, who is also known as Men Who Bullet. Mark, you want to share a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So thanks for having me. It's super exciting that we're doing this today, and we've got all the technology hopefully working well. So my name is Mark, and as Johnny said, I run the Instagram and YouTube account Men Who Bullet. I've been bullet journaling for almost 5 years. It's kind of crazy to think that it's been going on that long, but I am kind of a productivity addict. I've been using a lot of different things over the years. I started off being very digital heavy. I was using Evernote for a really long time to kind of keep track of notes, and then really wasn't working for me. So then I started to dabble inside of more traditional bullet journaling, but I've always loved the tech side of things. So anytime I've been able to play around with other apps, and in this case, Zinnia, that offers a really cool experience that kind of mimics exactly what you're getting out of traditional, but kind of gives you all of the things that you need right here for you. It's been pretty fantastic. So it's been super fun. So I like a lot of that. I mean, personally, I'm married, got 2 kids. We are, in Maryland. So all kinds of fun stuff going on here at the change of seasons, which is fun because, we've got the same change of seasons happening with the app, right? And it's
exactly
cool to see that going.
Yeah.
Same thing in my bullet journal, right? Like you start to feel a little bit cozier instead of that summer vibe. So everything's kind of shifting over. So
definitely
super good stuff happening.
Yeah, thanks for your enthusiasm, and thanks for touching on that point about Zinnia. We really did work hard on trying to get an analog type feel into a digital app, and I'm happy with it so far, and there's just so much more coming down the pike. I think Zinnia users, both new and old, I guess it's been around long enough now that we can call some of our OG users old users, but some great stuff coming, not just features, but content every month. So it's been a lot of fun working on it, and looking forward to doing more of these live feature overviews. And with that, Mark, why don't we have a look at what's new in Zinnia 1.2.1?
Absolutely. So I was actually going to say, before we as we get into this, it was interesting because I was just working on an idea for like a return to Zinnia, because we reviewed this app back in March. And there's been so much that has happened since then, which is really amazing, because some of the apps come out and you only get these incremental updates to content and features. And I mean, just between March and now in September, it's not that it's a new app. I mean, it's all there, but we've renamed some things. There's new additions to it, which are really cool. So we'll be sharing the screen, and I guess you'll see my face. So sorry if I'm looking down while I'm doing it. We haven't really worked out exactly what this looks like just yet. But yeah, Zinnia's been really amazing in what we've seen. So today we're going to go over a handful of things that are brand new in this update. There's some cool stuff. So I guess let's just kind of dive into it. What I have here on my screen are kind of all of my different planners that I currently have. So if you're new to the app, or you're just kind of looking at it, or you're one of the OGs, you know how a lot of this works. But the great thing about this is that with the premium version, you can have as many notebooks as you want. And I think without it, right, is it 3 journals that you get as part of the free version?
Yeah, 3 journals, 3 pages each. Enough to give you an idea of how the app works. And
very cool. So with that, you get all of the same features that are in there. So actually, I have the Zinnia 1.2.1 here. And the first thing we're actually going to take a look at are all of the new covers that have recently been updated. So as both Johnny and I were saying, the great thing about Zinnia is that you're trying to get that traditional journal feel inside of an app. And one way that you can do that, and one thing that a lot of people love about their journals are the covers. So a lot of the ones that you see here have been here since the start, but as you start to scroll over more, you'll start to see some of these newer ones that you're adding in here. So whether you like to get kind of that felt feel or like the snap close planners, there's some really cool, like, I guess technically it's digital faux leather, right? We're very aware of what's happening out here. So some great colors that are in here, and even from solid colors too are always there. But
can we say it's vegan?
Yeah, I mean, there's a super cool vibe that's happening with all of these as you go through. I was telling Johnny, my favorite one is this one here. I don't know what it is about this that just is so cool. I think
so
it's the intricacies of what's happening here, but a lot of brand new. I don't know the right word for it. It's like realistic, right? I'm thinking it's photorealistic, but whatever we're calling it. But some really cool new covers in here, so you can really personalize.
That's one of my favorites right there. I like that.
Yeah, you can really personalize to what you like. So aside from just picking from the photos or just the colors, now you have these other really cool options in here that you get to pick from. So these are brand new, so you can see these inside of the app, and they're all live now, right, Johnny? Just to make sure.
These are live, and
okay, cool.
We're actually so many more covers coming. We're actually having to rethink how we show this stuff to you. So.
Nice.
Future versions, keep an eye out for a slightly tweaked interface for the covers. But yeah, lots to choose from, and not to mention, right, adding your own photo if you wanted to. So
absolutely,
truly customizable.
Out there. So for that first one, that's the first new feature that's inside of 1.2.1. So the next thing that we're going to go into, and I hope that this show's okay, is actually something that I was really excited about. I didn't even know that I needed it until I saw that I needed it. I'm going to attempt to turn my screen while I have it on this deal here. I might have to take it out of my little case here just to show everybody. Sorry. But if you are working with your app and you have it in portrait mode, I always have to remember that there wasn't an option to you had to zoom in to get in closer, right? And that was fine at all. Now, if you zoom in a little bit, it'll actually lock to the one page view. So as you're working inside of the app, you can, pinch to zoom in a little bit, and now you can just swipe over and get this really cool one-to-one view. So if you are a planner that is working on like your weekly spreads or even in your dailies and going back and forth, this is actually a great feature, because if you have a stand or you keep your iPad out while you're working, you can have this right at a glance and easily just go between those two pages depending how you keep your notebook. So this was a really exciting new feature I saw, because depending how you used your iPad in the past, it was more about zooming in and kind of getting in here. So this was a really cool feature that we saw that you guys just added to, which is super amazing.
Yeah, we had a lot of requests for that, and really excited to have that roll out.
Fantastic. So did my screen go back to normal now?
We're looking good. Yep.
Okay, cool. I was like, if I have too many screens going here.
Mark's in the dark. He's like, I don't know. Is it looking okay?
Flying by.
We're in good shape.
So we've gone over the new covers. We did the pinch to zoom for the single page view. Next is going to be something that I think is going to be a real game changer for this app. That's my own personal opinion, but I'm sure everyone at Zinnia feels the same way. So inside of the drawing tool, any product that you choose here, any of the drawing that you do, if you open up where you used to, well, you still pick your sizing as well as your opacity. Now at the bottom, you'll see a brand new feature, which is smoothing. And this right here is just, in my mind, revolutionizing how I even use this app, because for a long time, I wasn't super happy with how my handwriting looked. I'll give a little demo in just a second of like what it looked like without it. And then the smoothing is really fantastic, because you really get to choose how much you want. You can go from low and having small tweaks inside of that to kind of correct a little bit. You can go right in the middle, which is my favorite place to be, because you still feel like you're writing, but it's easily smoothing out your lines.
Yeah.
And then you can go to the other extreme, which is at 100%, which is really good for your lines and your shapes, because it really holds it tight. So I'm just going to use the technical pen for this one here, but this does work with any of the different tools that you're using. So I'm going to take it down to 0, just as the base, to show you like, here's what my handwriting looks like inside of here. And then we'll slowly progress up, if that makes sense.
That
So I'm a
does.
lefty also. Not that I know if this affects anything or not, but I, making it happen. Go ahead, sorry. All right, so that's me at 0%. It's not the worst thing in the entire world. I'm a little bit proud of what I've learned over time. But you can kind of feel that, the awkwardness inside of there. So if you look, and I'm just gonna do it slowly because I know it's probably a little bit of a lag, but inside of the preview spot on here, so just above where it says size, you will see small little changes inside of that preview as you go. So right between 0 and about 70, I'll say it just changes ever so slightly. So I'll keep it, let's do it at like 60, for instance, and just write it again. I don't know that really helped me at all, to be very honest, but.
Is it fair to say it may actually look worse?
I'm going to try that again. Just to kind of show, but it gives ever so slightly. I mean, that's what I was saying, is that it's enough that you might be able to see it, but I don't feel it a lot in there. But you'll start to see as I go up to like 80%, you'll start to see those lines kind of really fill themselves out here a little bit more, and you'll see a little bit more of that smoothing happen. So that there is that 80% on that. So trying to use that space the right way. So you see a little bit of smoothing, and then as you go up, it just gets kind of tighter and tighter. So at 90%, you really get, you'll start to see those lines really smoothing themselves out even more, where you still have some control though. And then at 100%, you really see that line just like shrink, right? So if you're looking at that preview, really what that means is like, as you're drawing out your lines, you'll get more straighter lines. As you're doing shapes, it'll kind of smooth itself out a little bit. It's not going to completely snap into place just yet. But like when you write with it though, it's, I mean, you can see it's like, it says hello, but it's definitely like grabbing as you're going.
Yeah. And I think,
oh, go ahead.
No, yeah, I was just going to say, I think for a lot of folks, it'll just be finding their sweet spot. And with a little bit of practice, you'll be like, okay, 75%. When I'm handwriting with the technical pen gives me exactly that result I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm.
So it is one of those things where I think it's just based on the person who is creating. And but
I think you're absolutely right.
What a great new feature. I know it's been helping me a lot with my writing and the app as well.
Yeah, and I think with some of these too, like the brush pen, right, gives you those thicks and those thins as you're pressing.
Yeah.
And I need to figure out a new setup because I have this like thing that's holding up and it doesn't look great. I'm like not really sure how good this stuff looks versus when it's on a flat surface. But especially with that brush pen though, that's where I noticed a lot of it is it starts to look really nice. You get those thicks and thins as you're using your pressure. That looks really beautiful. I could put this on a card and sell it. It is playing with each of those, finding your sweet spot. Like you said, Johnny, I think that's exactly it. Is each of those tools is going to react a little bit differently to how you're going to utilize that. So some of it might not need it at all. Some of it you'll see, but it's all about experimenting and giving it a try for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And again, another huge request, and I know our dev team worked really hard on getting that line smoothing in there.
Yeah, and absolutely.
Super happy to have that working.
So golf clap to those devs for killing it, right? I mean, that's awesome. So that is it for the line smoothing. So the next thing we're going to talk about are actually going into the studio here and picking out some new pieces. So this was something that was added, I believe, in the last release, which gave you the option to actually change the color of anything. And I know there's like little caveats to this. So anything that is a solid color, you can change the actual color of that sticker, icon, signifier, whatever that is. So for instance, if I click on this heart underneath the Bohemian, because this is a solid color, you'll see down, and I don't know if I can like point to it with my deal, but in the bottom corner, I'll just use my pen for now. Here we go.
So the three colorful orbs.
Yeah, like right down over in here, you'll see the three colors overlapping. If you see that on your screen, that means that you can change the color of this. So you get your color picker similarly to how you've done with any of the drawing tools, and you can pick out the new color of that and also change the opacity. What's new in this release is that you can do that for multiple elements at the same time. So if I go back inside of there, and I'll just separate these out, whereas before you had to select each of these and then do it, now what you can do is just hold down with your lasso tool, select all of those items together, overlapping circles there as well. And this will allow you to change it as you go along. So where this is most helpful, and this is like for me, for instance, I don't do great with colors. So being able to like select all those colors at the same time and change them all together saves me a lot of variance inside of there, or going in and using the color picker tool like over and over again. So now I can go in here, select the color that I want for that piece, and change all of those colors at the same time. So that's really amazing in there, which again is just makes it a lot easier for your workflow as you're designing inside of the app.
Yeah, definitely. And I think we can change the opacity as well, which is also super handy.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's with these, the same deal like we were saying with the color. You can also change that opacity on the side of here. And then let me move this bad boy over here for a second. I'll find some of those other the items that you can't change the colors on, but you can change. So let's go with the Chic Boutique. And that's, you know, one of the other things, not to like fanboy over the app, but one of the things that, one of the many things that I love about the app is that there's like something for everything inside of here. Like, I don't even know how you all come up with all of these amazing categories and these new releases month to month. I'm almost like, is there anything else that you could possibly find to put inside of you?
We have to give
your team is killing it.
a golf clap for our friend Nicole.
Absolutely.
Who is slaying it with the content, I have to say.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. So same thing, you can select multiple items. Now you can't change the colors on these because they're more photos and have multiple colors to it, but you are able to change the opacity on all of those items at the same time. So that's pretty awesome as well.
Very cool.
All right, so let's see, multiple things. So I think the next piece that we want to talk about is actually up inside of the studio. So this is one of my favorite things that I love is the search bar, and that's always been there. That's working awesome. But right next to it, you'll see a little clock. And this is actually all of your recently used. And it's kind of like a search history, but one you don't have to worry about deleting. This has all of the most recent things that you're pulling out and that you're using inside of the app. So this is really great, especially if you've used some items and because of how amazing all of the content is in here and you're like, wait, I used this thing the other day, but I totally forgot maybe what it was under and you can't think of the name. You can easily come back inside of here and find all of your recent items. So whether it's certain, you know, your headlines, you can kind of see like the stuff that I've been playing around with recently. You can easily find that and select it and pull it in to where you're working. Same thing could work, you know, again, any type of items that you wanted to pull together and reuse. If you're not quite sure where they are, you can always select the multiple items and kind of bring them all over together. And now my page is looking a little messy and the organizer in me is getting mad at myself.
It starts kicking in.
Yeah.
Gotta organize this.
I know, that's exactly my brain works. I'm like, there's a lot of stuff on one page. I keep creating these pages.
Yeah, but I know for me recently, I was doing a book with a similar theme throughout, right? And so what was really great for me is I could just go to the recents and all of this thematic items that were sort of the through line, you know, for the aesthetic throughout that journal were like always just right there on top. And it was really easy to kind of build up my spreads that way. So super handy.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty awesome. And by having all of these pages, which was completely accidental, it actually fits really well into kind of what's next. So the new feature that's in here, it actually takes place in two places. So once is happening inside of your actual journal itself. So like I have all of these pages and, you know, we all have those moments where we're like, I don't know if I really like it. You can select those and tap the delete button. And before they were gone, right? Like no getting back to those. So now you'll see in the middle of your screen here in the center, it says deleted pages. So if you're having that moment of like, oh, I did not, you know, tomorrow I'm like, nope, you know, I really actually like that fall spread I did that has all of those buttons and things on it. You can now come inside of deleted pages and you can select the items that you want to restore and bring back into your journal. Or if you're like, I don't ever want to see that ugly handwriting ever again, you can delete forever and just completely get rid of it, which is a really nice way to just, you know, think about how you do things. It makes it, you know, it makes your decisions even less permanent, right? Which we all need sometimes when you're having a moment. So I just tapped on that. I clicked restore. And then if I tap close and go back into my main journal pages, you'll see that the one that I deleted is back here now. So works really well for individual pages. Now where this also works is actually out inside of your main journal pages as well. So same deal. I have a lot of things. I was telling Johnny the other day, like when I saw this feature, I was a little nervous because I was like, if I lose some of my inspo journals where I do a lot of screen, I'm gonna be really mad at myself. But sometimes you're going through it, maybe you forget what's inside of there. So I'll actually just do the Zinnia 1.2.1 because I would be mad if I lost this. We spent a lot of time in here today, but I've deleted it. I don't need that anymore. But then I'm like, oh, like what's that spread that I did that I really liked? Or like I accidentally did that. The bottom of the page now on the journals pages, you'll see deleted journals. So Zinnia now collects everything that you've deleted from your journals as well and puts it right inside of here. And it gives you those same two options as well when you click on it. You can either restore it back to all of your other journals and have it join as friends, or delete it forever and it goes away. So again, if you are accidentally doing things or you're having a moment of passion where you're just like, get rid of it, you have options to come back to it again.
That's great. So, you know, it's just one of those conveniences I think you used to, you know, that for me, you know, being a Mac user, you know, the trash bin, it's like, it's not really gone until I empty the bin, you know, like I can always go back if I want to. I'm not sure. I don't think I need it, but I might. Or those accidental moments as well. So, yeah. Yeah,
no, it works out pretty well. So those are all the new features inside of the 1.2.1. We do have a little bit of updates on some other stuff coming down the road, Johnny, but I didn't know if you wanted to talk about anything else as a part of this or chat on anything else that's in this new feature at all.
I think that covers it pretty well. Along with the usual, just sort of working on performance always, stability, squashing those bugs, you know, without question, adding new features. Sometimes those little bugs will sneak in there. So just want to let everyone know we're listening and we're working on improving the app, not only with features, but we're just making it more stable for you all out there. That's basically it. We have, Mark, I don't know if you were planning on, you know, we were talking about some of the content that's coming up.
Yeah, so as we're talking about coming up on the holiday, being Halloween and fall, so on the 28th, which is crazy to think, 4 days away, right? The fall content, the first like batch of fall content's going to come out. So there'll be new Halloween items inside of here. So I believe that'll be stickers. There's also autumn repos. And those will be, I think it's a mix. If I remember, we've got stickers, there's washi tapes. And that's the other thing too, Johnny. I don't know, it's like, again, fanboying over it. And it's not just because of this. I say it all the time. Like the way that the washi tapes work in here, it just blows my mind. It seems so silly, but I really love it. So, the new content, the new content that's coming out, that'll be really great. I think definitely with even just, you know, adding decorations to your page, or for those that do like more of the travel journal styles, you know, adding those elements and overlapping them and layering them, that's going to look super cool. Also the lettering guide. So this, I mean, what perfect matching this is. We have the new smoothing tool inside of the drawing space. So there'll also be lettering guides and templates. So I know I will be using them to, you know, make myself better at my digital handwriting as well.
Same here.
That's going to be super cool inside of there to be able to go over that and take a look. So I'm pumped on that. The other thing that's coming up that is pretty cool is Karen Newport in October, right, is doing iPad lettering. So I don't know if you want to just mention on that, like what format is that happening in? Is that video or is that happening within the app?
We're working with her now. We're definitely have an article with her inside the app in the studio. And then we're going to work on getting her to do a couple of tutorials. So some tips and tricks for using your writing skills inside of Zinnia, probably going a little more of a deep dive into some of the line smoothing and how best to utilize some of those writing templates and guides that we'll be introducing into the content. So yeah, it should be a lot of fun to explore. And again, just trying to get all of us, you know, able to create our most beautiful present our most beautiful selves in these journals, so
Yeah. It's easy to do with what's happening inside of this. So that'll be super cool. So
yeah.
definitely, now that this is out, if you haven't played around with smoothing, I think it's a perfect time to prep up for that, and then to be able to like design along with not just the new content, but also with someone like that who is just killing it in the digital game. That's going to be amazing.
Yeah, for those of you who may not be familiar, check out iPad lettering on YouTube and brace yourselves. It's some really great stuff there.
The great thing about doing it digitally too is if it doesn't look great, you can always erase it and then
yeah.
redo it. You don't have to worry about going through tons of paper on trying to get it right. That's for sure.
All that expensive paper, it's master it digitally first, and then you can move over.
Yeah, no,
but always come back to Zinnia.
Super smart, right? Like learn how to like do the lettering there and then take it over. It's something that I do often, sometimes with the app too, where I will like design something inside of here and then be like, you know what, that would look really good on paper as well, and try it that way. And I don't know, we can give a little heads up that I'm actually going to be doing some videos coming up where we're going to do exactly that. So that'll be pretty cool, where on my traditional bullet journal, YouTube and Instagram, you'll see it, where I'll be creating some pages and like how I use my journal there. And then we'll be recreating it inside of Zinnia as well, utilizing the everything that's here. So you'll be able to see best of both worlds and a little bit about how we've been I think through creating, because it's so fun and easy to do inside of the app. And like I said, sometimes I can't think of what to do on paper, so I'll come over here and be like, oh, look at this amazing content. Like I play around with it, manipulate it, and then be like, oh, I can take this over to traditional. So I think it also shows how this app can be a really great companion to just your creative nature within it, whether you keep things digitally or analog as well.
Yeah, I agree. It's a great place to sort of vet your ideas, experiment with layouts, maybe broaden your horizons a little bit, without having to sacrifice pages in your hardbound journals, and then you can sort of explore that once you have it refined. And I love the idea of jumping back and forth between the two. So I'm really excited to be exploring that with you in some of these upcoming videos that we'll be doing.
Yeah, no, it'll be super fun.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know if there's any other updates, Johnny, that you wanted to chat about today?
No, I think we're all set. For those of you who may have missed it, Mark's handle is Men Who Bullet. You can find him on all the socials. Definitely check out his YouTube channel. And I guess that's it, Mark. I hope, I'm pretty sure we'll be doing another one of these.
Yeah.
The next time there's a feature drop. And in the meantime, folks can check out your YouTube. Please continue to come back to the Pixite YouTube channel. We're always posting new videos and tutorials. And just a big, genuine, warm thank you to everybody who managed to join us today, or who maybe catch this later on. We'll be archiving this so that folks can view it later. And Mark, thanks a million.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thanks again for everyone who's joining today. I'm excited to do more of these. And, I think next time we'll definitely take a look at some of those new features, but I'm planning on a return to Zinnia video like I talked about. So we'll be taking a look at some of that new content too. So excited to get that on and do more of these in the future, man. Thanks so much for reaching out, and excited to be continuing to do these with you.
Definitely. All right, man. Cheers.
All right, take it easy, everyone. See ya.